My sister's graduation party was supposed to be normal. Laughter, photos, relatives talking too loudly, and my parents proudly introducing her as their successful daughter. I stood off to the side, smiling politely, holding a drink I hadn't touched. That's when she clinked her glass and called for attention. Everyone turned toward her. She looked nervous, but not in a bad way. More like someone about to perform. "I have something important to say," she began, placing a hand on her stomach where her baby rested in her arms. "I've made a decision for my future and for my child." My chest tightened. She turned toward me, smiling sweetly. "I've decided my sister will raise my baby." For a moment, I thought I misheard her. But then came the applause.
Actual applause.
People looked at me with admiration, some even nodding approvingly. My mother stepped forward immediately, placing a proud hand on my shoulder. "She's always been the responsible one," she said to the crowd. Responsible? That word again. I opened my mouth to speak, but nothing came out. My sister walked over and gently placed the baby in my arms like this had already been agreed up. I looked down at the baby, then back at my sister. She gave me a look that felt less like gratitude and more like expectation. And that's when it hit me. This wasn't a moment. It was a trap. The moment the guests left, the atmosphere shifted. The smiles disappeared, replaced by something colder, expectation. I found my parents in the kitchen, calmly discussing next steps, like a business deal had just been finalized. "What was that?" I demanded. My mother barely looked up. "What do you mean?" My father sighed.
"We talked about it."
"It makes sense." "Makes sense." My voice rose. "You just gave me a child without asking me." My sister entered then, already teary-eyed. "I knew you'd react like this," she said softly. "But I can't do this. I'm not ready." "You should have thought about that before." I snapped. She flinched, and immediately my mother stepped in. "Enough. She's overwhelmed." "And I'm not." I shot back. My father crossed his arms. "You're stable. You have a job. No kids. This is different." "So my life is just available?" I asked. No one answered. That silence said everything. Later that night, my phone started buzzing. Messages poured in, relatives praising me, friends calling me inspiring, even strangers commenting on posts I didn't know existed. She had posted it. A photo of me holding the baby. Caption: "Forever grateful my sister is stepping up where I can't." I felt sick. If I said no now, I wouldn't just be refusing. I'd be the villain by the next morning. It wasn't just family, it was everyone. My phone didn't stop ringing. Messages flooded in faster than I could read them. "Your sister is lucky to have you. I wish I had a sibling like you." Each message felt heavier than the last. But somehow, the world had decided I already did. I opened social media and immediately regretted it. My sister had turned everything into a story. Photos from the party.
Close-ups of the baby.
Even a video of the exact moment she handed the child to me, edited with soft music in the background. The caption read, "A difficult but loving decision. I trust her more than anyone." Thousands of likes. Dozens of comments praising her selflessness. Selfless? I stared at the screen in disbelief. She wasn't being selfless. She was escaping responsibility. And she was using me to do it. Later that day, my aunt called. "We're all so proud of you," she said warmly. "It's not easy raising someone else's child." She paused. "Oh, don't say that. Your sister needs you." Another call. Another lecture. Family comes first. Think about the baby. You can't abandon her. Abandon? The word hit hard. I wasn't the one walking away. But somehow, the narrative had flipped. That evening, my sister sat across from me, scrolling through her phone with a small smile. "They love you," she said. I looked at her. "You planned this." She didn't deny it. Instead, she shrugged slightly. "I knew you wouldn't say no in front of everyone." That was the moment everything inside me shifted. This wasn't pressure anymore. This was manipulation. At first, I tried to understand her. I told myself maybe she really was overwhelmed. Maybe the pressure of motherhood had hit her harder than expected. But the more I watched, the less that explanation made sense. She wasn't struggling. She was avoiding. Days passed, and nothing about her life changed. She still went out with friends, still spent hours getting ready, still talked about her plans like the baby wasn't part of them. Meanwhile, I was the one being asked questions. Did the baby sleep well? Have you thought about daycare? What school will you choose? Every question felt like a quiet assumption that the decision had already been made. One afternoon, I walked into the living room and found the baby crying in the crib. My sister was in the next room, laughing on a video call. She's been crying for 10 minutes, I said. She'll be fine, my sister replied casually, not even looking over. I picked the baby up, instinctively soothing her. That's when I noticed it. This wasn't temporary for her. She had already detached. Later that night, I overheard her talking to a friend. Once she takes full responsibility, I'm finally free, she said, her voice light, almost excited.
Free.
The word echoed in my head. Not relieved. Not grateful. That's when the truth became undeniable. She didn't see this as a sacrifice. She saw it as an escape plan. And I was the exit the tension in the house had been building for days, but that night it finally exploded. We were sitting at the dinner table, my parents, my sister, and me. The baby monitor crackled softly in the background, a constant reminder of the responsibility hovering over me like a storm cloud. My father cleared his throat. We've been thinking, he began, in that tone that meant decisions had already been made. It's time to make things official. I looked up slowly. Official? My mother nodded. Legal guardianship. It's better for the baby. Stability matters. I let out a quiet, disbelieving laugh. You mean it's better for her? I said, gesturing toward my sister. My sister immediately looked down, playing her part. I just want what's best for my child, she whispered. Something inside me snapped. No, I said. The word hung in the air. My father frowned. What do you mean, no? I mean no, I repeated, louder this time. I'm not taking her baby. I never agreed to this. You don't get to decide my life for me. No, I said again, standing up now. You didn't ask me. You announced it in front of everyone like I didn't have a choice. You're being selfish, my father said sharply. I stared at him. Selfish? For not raising a child that isn't mine? The silence that followed was heavy. Then my sister started crying. I knew you'd do this, she said between sobs. I trusted you. I clenched my fists. You trapped me. My mother stood up abruptly. Enough. This is your family. You don't just walk away. I took a step back, my heart pounding, but my voice steady. Watch me. That was the moment everything changed. The fallout from that night was immediate. My parents barely spoke to me. My sister avoided me completely, at least in person. But behind the scenes, things were still moving. The messages didn't stop. If anything, they got worse. Now, they weren't just praising me. They were questioning me. Is everything okay? Why are you hesitating? Your sister needs support, not stress. It felt like the entire world had been turned against me. Then, unexpectedly, I got a message from my cousin. We met at a quiet cafe the next day. She looked nervous, constantly glancing around before leaning closer. You weren't supposed to find out like this, she said. Find out what? She hesitated. Then she pulled out her phone and showed me a series of messages.
It was a group chat.
My sister was in it. So, she's definitely going to say yes. My sister had written weeks before the graduation. This is the easiest way to make it happen. My stomach dropped. This was planned. I whispered. Every smile, every tear,
Every word at that party.
all of it had been calculated.
That hurt the most.
I sat back, trying to process it all. This wasn't pressure. This wasn't misunderstanding. This was a setup. And suddenly, everything became clear. If they wanted to play this game publicly, then I would end it the same way. For the first time since the announcement, I felt something different. Not confusion. Not guilt.
Clarity.
I went home and didn't argue. Didn't raise my voice.
Didn't react.
Instead, I started preparing. I saved everything, screenshots of posts, messages from relatives, and most importantly, the conversation my cousin had shown me. Every piece of proof went into a folder. I would dismantle it the same way. "You've been quiet," my mother said cautiously one evening. "I'm thinking," I replied simply. My sister, sitting across the room, watched me carefully. There was something uneasy in her expression now.
Good. She should be.
The next day, she tried to bring it up again. "We need to talk about the baby," she said. Her eyes narrowed slightly. "You're still on this?" "I never left it," she scoffed. "You're really going to let me struggle like this?" I held her gaze. "You chose this." That shut her up. But I knew it wasn't over. Because people like her don't give up easily. They escalate. And sure enough, 2 days later, my parents announced another family gathering. I almost smiled. Perfect timing. Because this time, I was ready. The room was full again. Relatives. Family friends. The same faces from the graduation party. It felt familiar, but this time, the energy was different.
Tense.
My sister stood at the center, holding the baby, looking fragile and emotional, just like before. "I just want to say," she began, her voice trembling, "that this has been really hard for me."
Here we go again.
She glanced at me briefly before continuing. "I thought I had support, but lately, I've felt very alone." Murmurs spread through the room. I stood up. "Do you want to tell them the truth?" I asked calmly. The room went silent. My sister froze. "What are you talking about?" I pulled out my phone. "Or should I?" My father stepped forward. "This isn't the time." "No," I said firmly. "This is exactly the time." I turned the screen toward the room and read aloud. "She won't embarrass me in public." My sister's face went pale. "This is the easiest way to make it happen." "You planned this," I continued, my voice steady. "Weeks in advance. You used that party to force me into something I never agreed to." "That's not," she started. "It is," I cut in. "And I have proof." I looked around the room. "All of you praised me for something I didn't choose. You called me selfless, but no one asked if I even said yes." The silence was heavy now. Uncomfortable.
Real.
No one clapped this time. No one spoke. Because for the first time, they were hearing the truth. The shift was immediate. The same people who once praised my sister now avoided eye contact with her. Conversations turned awkward. Whispers followed her wherever she went.
She had been exposed.
My parents were the next to feel it. Their confident stance disappeared, replaced with quiet embarrassment. I looked at her. "Just like you didn't have to decide my life publicly?" She had no answer. My father tried a different approach. "We were just trying to help." "No," I said calmly. "You were trying to control." That ended the conversation. As for my sister, she changed overnight. The confidence, the manipulation, it was gone. Now she looked overwhelmed. Actually overwhelmed. No audience to pressure. No story to hide behind. Just reality. And for the first time, she had to face it alone. Weeks passed, and life slowly settled into something quieter. Not normal,